What is happiness? What happens when we are able to place a monetary value on someone's life? How does one examine life and death? I sold my life for 10,000 yen per year, or more commonly known as 3 Days of Happiness, is a short 3-volume manga written by Miaki Sugaru. 3 Days of Happiness is nothing short of a masterpiece. It is brilliantly written and emotionally gut-wrenching. What is more impressive is the fact that even though it is 16 chapters long, I would argue that this is one of the best written works I've ever read. Through these 16 chapters, the manga is able to explore the theme of happiness and how individuals live their lives through social norms. The story starts off with the main character, Kusunoki, selling 30 years of his life, keeping only 3 months remaining. We then pan to flashbacks of Kusunoki's childhood to better understand and empathize with the main character. Kusunoki is a character who is bound by society's harsh expectations. He was expected to be rich and have a good future from when he was 10 years old, but instead became someone with no money with a part-time job. Kusunoki has pretty much given up on life and does not see the meaning in repeating the same activities every day. To him, he does not value living. This leads him choosing to sell his life, where he meets Miyagi. Miyagi is first introduced as a rather emotionless girl. She does her job monitoring Kusunoki, making sure that he doesn't perform any criminal acts due to the stress of realizing you have little time left to live. Throughout the story, we get to see both characters develop through interactions with each other. Topics such as the past, the future, and lovers were common discussions between the two. Though both characters started the story with a rather emotionless state, not seeing any meaning in life, at the end we see a completely different story. Now let's get to the analysis. What is happiness? Societal value versus personal value. Happiness is a key part in this manga. At the beginning of the manga, we are introduced to the concept of the value of life. The company is able to judge how much your life is worth through how happy a life it is, how it makes others happy, how many dreams are achieved, how much it contributes to society. The list goes on. As expected, Kusunoki's life value is very low and is only paid 10,000 yen per year. That is around 100 USD per year. Through this conceptual definition of the value of life, we can see the author's commentary on what it means to live. Sugaru questions the readers about the value of one's life. If we attach a value to one's life, how would we account for the differences in value? What can make a person's life valuable? How can it be maximized? Through the conceptual definition set by the company, Sugaru paints similarities between the company and that of representations of society. The value of one's life is mainly attributed to how much a person can contribute to society plus a person's own self-worth. This is what Sugaru paints the world in which Miyagi and Kusunoki live. Both characters originally see the world and value their lives to what society values at the start of the manga. This is the reason why both don't value their own lives. They see that they don't have any value. However, as the manga progresses and both characters start developing, the definition for the value of life changes. Both characters come to the realization that the value of life is not so simple. That instead of looking at what society views as good and have value, that they should do what makes them happy. Both characters were dragged down by societal expectations and fell into a pit that made them feel worthless. Through society's definition of the value of life, both are failures. However, that changes when both of them meet each other. The major shift in the character's own definition for the value of life starts when Kusunoki treats Miyagi as a real person. Throughout the duration of the 3 months, Miyagi is invisible to the human world and only there to monitor Kusunoki. Because of this, Kusunoki is forced to act like Miyagi is not around to cater to societal norms. He does this to not be seen as a crazy person talking to a ghost. However, as the two develop a relationship together, Kusunoki starts interacting with Miyagi without looking at society. He starts talking to Miyagi in public, to which other people look at him with pity, since it looks like he is talking to a ghost. However, Kusunoki has become free from the boundaries of society and has come to terms with his own happiness and self-worth. If he is happy, that is all that matters. I love Miyagi, so I will express it even though it makes me look dumb to society. To me, this was a breathtaking and emotionally moving scene as we see the development of a character bounded by society shift into a character who values their own happiness, not looking at society. The main point I believe that Sugaru was getting across was to maximize happiness. While this seems obvious to most, today in a world where people judge you for the clothes you wear, how you look, it can be hard to not cater to public opinion. We lose sense of what really makes us happy, and instead we strive for what society thinks will make us happy or have value. The final scene of 3 Days of Happiness ends with the quote, "I believe those 3 days, compared to the tragic 30 years I would have lived, compared to the worthwhile 30 days I would have lived, compared to were of much more value." This shows us the development that both Kusunoki and Miyagi have undergone. Both have come to terms with what makes them happy. Through society's definition, it would have been impossible for this value to be correct. Kusunoki could have become a famous painter and influenced many people around the world. However, he chose to spend his remaining days with Miyagi, valuing his own happiness and coming to terms with making the best out of his own life. They value the time that they spend together more than anything in the world. Personal value versus societal value shown through happiness is brilliantly presented throughout this manga. As Kusunoki once said, "It doesn't matter when I'm dead." To paraphrase, the value of my life to me has no meaning when I'm dead, so I better make the most out of it when I'm alive. To me, this was an amazing end to the story. I just want to say that this manga was a masterpiece of a read, and I recommend all of you check it out if you haven't seen it already. I'm surprised this hasn't been adapted into a movie yet, but hopefully in the future it will. And you guys will come back to this video and check it out. Comment below on what you guys think. Did you like my analysis? Did you disagree? I'm also open to discuss manga and anime with people in the comments, so don't be afraid to ask. I would love to hear your opinions on this manga.